What up, horror fam? Welcome back to the channel. So for today, we have an interesting update, a little bit of the behind the scenes, extra information, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to the Substance film starring Demi Moore. I would be shocked if you haven't heard of The Substance. It was one of those films I felt came out of nowhere in 2024. I think it took a lot of people by surprise, not just based on the subgenre of horror that it was focusing on, but just the sheer amount of money it made based off the budget. So if you don't know, this had a very low budget of a little under $20 million. I think it was around $17 million, give or take, between $17 and $20 million. And it made back almost $80 million at the box office. And it did not have a wide global release. This film was not released in anywhere, at least in my area. So it wasn't something that I was able to go see and enjoy. So had it been, I definitely would have seen it. It was one of those films I had to catch on streaming well after the fact. But again, I would be shocked if you haven't heard of this film. So just a quick synopsis if you haven't. As you can see, again, it stars Demi Moore, and she plays a character by the name of Elizabeth Sparkle, who is well on into her career and is now just looking for a way to regain her youth, regain the attention that she once had. So she eventually takes this thing called The Substance, which is a black market serum that promises you that you will be younger, more beautiful, more perfect version of yourself. And ultimately what happens is she takes this drug, she takes this serum, and I don't want to spoil it, but a younger version of her does come about and is played by Margaret Qualley. So check it out if you haven't seen it. It is one of those, like I said, the subgenre is considered body horror subgenre in the horror film, overall genre. So if you are a little bit queasy, I would recommend probably staying away from it. If you aren't queasy, then definitely check it out. It's worth a watch. One of those ones I thought was easily in the top 10, possibly even the top 5 horror films of 2024, in my opinion. I know others might disagree, but if you look at the space of the horror releases that we got in 2024, even though we did get a lot of them, not all of them were great, but there were quite a few good ones, and this one was definitely one of them. But as I've mentioned before, I love the behind the scenes things. I love the what's discussed, what are these actors and actresses going through. And this one caught my eye, not just for the fact it was The Substance and Demi Moore or Demi Moore, but the fact that it was both of them. And with Demi Moore being at where she's at in her career, doing a film like The Substance, I thought was a risk for her. She hasn't really been in much. She was really one of those 80s, 90s, big time actresses. And like many actors and actresses, there comes a point in your career you either tend to fall off. You're not as mainstream. You're not doing the really big budget box office releases, and you tend to do more small budget independent films. Or some people just kind of fade off into the sunset. You never really hear from them again until they have like a resurgence in their career, and then they come back and they're just in a ton of things, and not just a ton of films just to be in films. They typically are in a lot of films that turn out to be really great films that are either independent or low budget. And I think The Substance was just happened to be that diamond in the rough for Demi Moore. So I wanted to go through some of the details in this just to give us a bit of more context about her experience, where she was at, what she was feeling, prior to The Substance, and then, coming into this film. So Demi Moore explains why she nearly left the filming industry before being cast in an award-nominated role. I mean, that's pretty big when you're very willing to step away from your career because either things aren't, working out, the roles aren't coming, the phone isn't ringing, and then all of a sudden you see this opportunity that, I'm sure many people probably passed up when they saw the script, when they saw the details, and she was like, hey, what do I got to lose, right? I'm at a point in my career, I can probably take this risk, and I'm going to do it. So Demi Moore reveals why she nearly stepped away from acting before landing her Golden Globe nominated role in The Substance. Now, we don't typically see, and I've said this before, and many people that are in the horror space know, horror movies never get nominated for awards. When it comes to award season, it never happens, or it's very, very rare. And the fact that The Substance, not only did she get nominated, I think they had a total of 5 nominations Golden Globe nominations for this film. So was very happy to see that. I am hoping, fingers crossed, that she does win, or that they do come out with at least 1 or 2 Golden Globes, because I think what that will do is shine a light not just on this film, not just on those individuals, but the horror genre in general. And I think it needs to start to be taken a little bit more seriously, these films, because there are a lot of great films out there that do deserve to be, put out amongst the masses, and do deserve to get credit for the work that they're putting in. So the 2024 body horror film, directed by Corley Fairgate, stars Moore as Elizabeth Sparkle, a faded Hollywood star who resorts to a black market drug to regain her youth, unleashing a grotesque and horrifying consequence. Margaret Qualley co-stars as Sue, Elizabeth's younger, better version of herself. The film, known for its shocking practical effects and biting commentary on society's obsession with youth, premiered to critical acclaim at Cannon's, where Fairgate won Best Screenplay. So if you don't know already, real quick, Demi Moore, I think it was around the time this film came out, or probably a couple weeks after it came out, she put on her Instagram, I think, 3 to 5 photos of her in various practical costumes, or bodysuits, actually is a better word to put, and they were exactly what they looked like in the film, obviously with probably some additional makeup, lighting, things of that nature, but she showed full-blown the practical effects bodysuits that she wore during the filming, and they are absolutely insane. So if you haven't seen those photos, I would recommend, and if you do have Instagram, go over there and check it out, or just do a Google search for those photos. I'm sure they'll come up, but it was absolutely crazy to see those bodysuits, and I'm sure the work that it went in to creating those for a film like this. They're not your typical bodysuits where it just adds a bit of weight onto you like we see in other films. I mean, think a horror bodysuit, and that's what these look like. During an actress roundtable with Los Angeles Times, Moore opened up about her struggles with the film industry that almost caused her to leave entirely before she was cast in The Substance. A major star of the 1980s and 90s, Moore is best known for iconic roles in Blame It on Rio, A Few Good Men, and Indecent Proposal. Despite her early success in Hollywood, she explained how she hit a creative wall and began to question her place in the industry. Reflecting on this challenging period, Moore shared the following. This is all a quote here. "I went through a period where I didn't quite find where I belonged. The material I was seeing, it was like nothing was bad, but nothing was great. My question became, is this part of my life complete? Have I done what I was supposed to do here? And then I realized that if I didn't have the answer to that question, I have to then inject the focus and energy to answer that question." And what's interesting is, as soon as I made that shift, The Substance 2 weeks later arrived across my desk, and it was the first piece of material in a very long time that I felt moved by. I guess that's one way to put it. I mean, if you've seen the film, that's an interesting way to describe when that type of script comes across your way and you feel moved by it. So again, just interesting choice of words. Leaning into a fearless form of self-parody as Elizabeth Moore shines in her most powerful film role in years. Her pivotal turn as the fading star and her candid reflection at the Actress Roundtable highlight the challenges of sustaining relevance in an industry which does not award aging on-screen women the same longevity and acclaim their male counterparts have always been given. Fairgate's body horror film centers on a character grappling with Hollywood's harsh beauty standards, which closely mirrors Moore's own journey of questioning her place in the entertainment industry. Both a brash spectacle and critique of socialite pressures, Moore's visual arresting transformations stress the extremes to which women might go to sustain a facade of perfection. For Moore, it offered a rare opportunity to explore themes of gender, vanity, and self-destruction, anchored by a versatile narrative and grotesque body horror visuals. The Substance not only revitalized Moore's career, but also showed the importance of meaningful roles for seasoned female actors in an industry that often sidelines bold, auteur-driven projects for the next superhero film or video game adaptation. So I would agree, especially with that. I mean, I agree with pretty much all of this, but I definitely agree with that last part where we find ourselves in a world right now of nothing but superhero films and video game adaptations, where we see, like, for example, Borderlands, which was an absolute travesty, which was an absolute horrible movie. It had nothing to do with the source material when you think about the video games. If you've ever played those video games, you would know that the movie just didn't live up to the expectations. So, and then with superhero films, we just keep getting them over and over again. And it seems like once one set is done, we're rebooting or remaking those same characters into another version, and we're starting the whole cycle over again. And don't get me wrong, I like those movies. I enjoy those movies for what they are, but at times it does feel, for me personally, a bit superhero fatigue. Now, I know that phrase has been used probably over the last 3 to 5 years, and some will argue that there is no such thing as superhero fatigue. In my opinion, there is. In my opinion, I feel that every time we have a summer, blockbusters for movies, they're typically always superhero heavy or Pixar or animated heavy. You don't see like a lot of films like this, independent films or any others that come out. I mean, it just seems to be dominated, right? So when things like this come up, I'm always excited to see it, always excited to support them, especially when they're great films like this one. So Moore's journey back to the spotlight with the substance shows the value of stories about women by women filmmakers. As one of Hollywood's defining stars of the late 20th century, Moore's transformation role as Elizabeth Sparkle reaffirms her ability to captivate audiences while exploring uncharted territory as an actor. The substance not only serves as a gripping critique of societal beauty standards, but also features Moore at her boldest. By embracing the film's unapologetic, grotesque visuals and daring commentary, she proves that spectacular reinvention is always possible, even in an industry often resent to change. And down here below, you have a poster of the film where you can stream it, but you can also buy this and rent this, I believe now on Amazon, through Apple as well. But to stream it, if you have Mubi, then you can just stream it directly from there. I mean, like I said, I agree with this. I was happy to see Demi Moore in a role like this. Not something she's ever done. I think she's a phenomenal actress. She always has been a great actress. But to see her in something like this, which felt like it was out of her comfort zone, and she was really pushing her own boundaries, I think she may have found a rejuvenated avenue for her career. I'm not saying she has to do all horror films, but maybe more horror, thriller, mystery type films. I mean, she played this one very well, and this might be a way for her to continue her career, because other films like what were mentioned there, they don't typically make films like that anymore. And if they do, they're gonna be going for more up and coming actors and actresses, which, as the article mentions, that's just part of the industry. Whether that's right or wrong, that's just how it is. So this might be, again, an avenue for her to continue her career, and this just proves how successful she can be. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for today's update. I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone for all the support and all the new subscribers. It is greatly appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know if you've seen the substance. What did you think about it? And do you think this might be a turning point for Demi Moore's career? Do you think that we might be seeing her in future projects like this in the horror space or in other genres? And do you think she has a shot at winning the Golden Globe she was nominated for it. Do you think she has a shot at winning it? So again, let us know down in the comment section. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Peace.